everyone, and welcome back to Liz Sews. So I got a request a couple of weeks ago to do a video on how to remove the power bar from Black Beauty bra. And I thought at first I was like, well, that's, a weird request. I mean, how hard can it be? You just, don't sew in the power bar. But then, I'm laying awake at night and I'm thinking about it, and I decided that what people are really having an issue is not so much how to remove the power bar, but rather how to handle the strap attachment point. And so in today's video, I'm going to go over a couple of strategies for handling the strap attachment point in the Black Beauty bra if you've removed the power bar. So here's going to be the first example and the one that I use the most often. So if you're making your Black Beauty bra, you have your upper piece and your lower piece. They're going to be sewn together. And typically you would have your power bar then laid over top of it. So for this one, we're going to remove the power bar. So take that pattern piece away, and that's it. You don't need to make any alterations to your pattern. You can just use them completely as is. This is something that I started to do because I was making a bra and I had forgotten to put the power bar in. So I had cut out the piece of fabric, I had finished the edges and all that stuff, but then I forgot to attach the power bar to the cup before inserting it to the cradle, and this is the solution that I came up with. So here is an example of what I'm talking about. So we have, the straight lined upper cut piece of the Black Beauty bra. So that's going to be this portion. This portion right here is this upper neckline. And then when we come to the strap attachment point, you can see that the ring is just attached directly onto there. And the way that we do that is super simple. We just, when we're putting in our underarm elastic here, I leave an extra couple, maybe inch or two of this hanging off. And then when I'm ready to attach my straps in, I thread the elastic through the ring and just double it back and sew it with like sort of a bar tack stitch. So the ring itself is attached to the underarm elastic that's coming along through the side of the cup and up to the top here. So I do this really, really often. I personally like it because it's something that doesn't require any changes to the patterns. It's something I can do without even thinking about. One sort of con of this method is that it does move the strap attachment point a little further out. I personally have very broad shoulders and it doesn't bother me at all, but if you're already on the cusp with the Black Beauty bra of the straps being too wide, so they're falling off your shoulders or something like that, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this method of attaching straps. Now, there's a second method that's very similar to this, and I'm going to show that in this example. So the same thing, we've cut our upper and lower cut piece just like the pattern, and we've left out the power bar. And in this example, I've left an extra long bit of picot elastic, and instead of doubling it back on itself so that the ring would attach down here, instead I've left an extra wide piece of that underarm picot elastic, and I'm going to thread it through the ring and then fold it and attach it closer in on the cut piece here. So you can see in this example, what happens is it actually brings that strap attachment point in closer to the center and closer to where it would have been had you have used your power bar. So if I lay this power bar piece over top here, you can see that if I had used the power bar, this is where the strap attachment point would be, and I've maintained that same strap attachment point by doing this sort of triangular maneuver with the underarm elastic. So that's what it looks from the outside. You will of course see that sort of triangle, but I quite like how it looks. And then this is how it looks from the inside of the bra when it's worn. So the pros of this are that you don't have to, again, make any pattern alterations. You can just use the pattern completely as written. All you need to do is remember to give yourself a good 5 maybe inches of underarm elastic over on the side. You just want enough to make sure that you can do a really good wide triangle. One thing I would say with this one is you need to be careful about what sort of materials you have in the bra itself. So in this example, I have lace on the outside. Lace, if you attach this strap direct attachment point to the lace itself, the lace will probably give way to that sort of strain. So what I have on the interior here is a double layer of sheer cup lining. That's going to be relatively strong. And I have attached my strap attachment point. I made sure to attach it to that sheer cup lining so that it has this as its limiting factor, and I don't have to worry about the lace itself being strained and pulled upon by the strap. So in this example here, the stitching goes through both of these layers of sheer cup lining. I say 2 layers because I've cut on the fold, so there are actually 2 layers here. It's going through that sheer cup lining, through this elastic, and through the lace on the outside. So it's going through 4 layers altogether, and that creates a pretty strong place to attach it to. Now this works best if your bra is pretty well fitted, because of course if you have excess material in here, you do run the risk of it maybe bunching up in the center here, but this particular bra is pretty well fitted to myself, so when I wear it, I don't have any bunching with the strap attachment point method. I've shoved my elastic in between my cup lining and my lace, and that gives me a little bit cleaner of a finish, but certainly I do have bras where I've just attached it directly to the back of it, and so you see the end of the elastic in there. Both of them work pretty well. It's just, you know, what setup you have on this upper cup section here. So these are the 2 methods I would use if you don't want to make any pattern alterations, or if it's a mistake and you've gotten to this point and you realize, oh crap, I didn't put in my power bar. So the last couple of options I want to talk about have to do with manipulating the pattern slightly to add strap attachment points. So the first example here is one I made rather recently, and we can see in this bra, I used Black Beauty as my base pattern, but of course there is no power bar in here, and I actually have the strap attachment built into the top of the cup itself. So let's take a look at the pattern pieces and what changes I made. So here's the pattern piece I actually ended up using for this bra over here. And if I overlay the original Black Beauty upper cup piece, we can see the differences that I've made. So I pretty much copied over the exact piece on the bottom here, and then I just free-handed this strap attachment point, knowing that I wanted to sort of move it over by about 1 inch. So I had something that looked a little bit more centered over the apex. Of course, in this pattern, the apex is where that notch line is. So here's the apex. So I've just moved it over 1 inch, but you could move it over more if you wanted to. So in this particular one, I have free-handed my strap attachment portion of this upper cup piece. I took this curve and just continued going as if, you know, extending that line up further. And then on this one, I just sort of free-handed a nice gentle curve here, knowing that I wanted to use fold over elastic to finish that edge. So that is what I have used in this bra to get that effect. And I think it works out really, really well. I find this wing quite comfortable, and I think it really changes up the look of the bra itself, and it's a really fun thing to do. So let's say you don't want to freehand it as much as I have done this one. You can do a much smaller or simpler version of basically the same technique. So in this upper cup piece, I've again started with my regular upper cup piece there, and the strap attachment point for him is actually pulled directly off of my power bar. So if I align my upper cup piece with my power bar on here, you can see that I've basically copied over the edge here. I've given myself just a little bit extra on the top, and that's going to allow me to fold the fabric over through the ring. And I've also sort of curved this portion down because I didn't want something that was a straight right angle. But you can see how using the pattern pieces you already have, it'd be quite easy to create an upper cup pattern piece where that strap attachment point is integrated into the cup piece already. Again, for this type of thing, you could cover the upper edge here in fold over elastic. If you added some seam allowance, you could add, you know, 1/2 inch or 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. You could cover the top of this in a decorative elastic or a picot elastic or something like that, and have that strap attachment point integrated in, and also just as far over as you would in a bra that had the power bar included. And then the last set of examples that I want to show you is how to create a strap attachment piece that isn't integrated into the upper cup piece. It's the separate piece altogether. So if we overlay our upper cup with our power bar here, you can see where the power bar extends beyond the upper cup piece. So if I was making a separate strap attachment piece that's going to be not integral to the upper cup, this is where I'm going to start with. And I'm going to copy around, the outside edge here and over, and then I'm going to leave out my seam allowance from the power bar and copy down back around. I'm going to get, and then in this example, I've given myself 1/4 inch of seam allowance on the bottom of the strap attachment piece and about 1/2 inch seam allowance at the top. The reason I'm leaving myself 1/2 inch seam allowance at the top is, again, it gives me enough fabric to sort of fold through the ring and have enough to secure it back down. This might be too much, but I would rather have too much that I can cut off down the road than not have enough. So in this example, I've just copied over the outside edge of the power bar across the front, down without the seam allowance and back, and then I added seam allowances on the bottom and the top, and I get this pattern piece. So I would cut this pattern piece out along the fold, so the fold line being right here, and what I get is something that looks like this. So this method is used in a couple of commercial patterns, such as the Amethyst bra from Bra Maker Supply. I don't currently have any examples of bras using this particular strap attachment method, but I thought it would at least show it to you. So I've cut out this piece of fabric on the fold, and then of course you can fold it in half and press it. So this edge, the folded edge, is now finished. So if I was working on this with a bra, I would do this before attaching my underarm elastic. And I would take my piece of fabric and I would overlap it by 1/4 inch or whatever it is that you've decided is your seam allowance on the lower edge. I would overlap it on here and then sew it into place. And then when you're putting your underarm elastic in, you would go up along the sides of the cup and then extend into this sort of strap attachment point here. So your underarm elastic would continue up until you got to the top of the strap attachment point here. This allows you to still have that straight edge of your upper cup here if you wanted to use lace, and it gives you that nice sort of 90-degree angle without having to put elastic in there to get that sort of sharp turn. Because the side of this is finished with a folded piece of fabric, you don't have to finish it itself. So you would continue your underarm elastic up on the cut edges of this strap attachment, and then you could use this piece of fabric to fold through your ring and attach your strap. So that's one version of it. Like I said, I don't currently have any bras that use this attachment method, but I'll try to input a picture of what a finished cup would look like if you had done this sort of strap attachment method. And then if you want to sort of like expand that out further, you could do something like the Boylston bra. So here is, the pattern piece from a Boylston bra. Even if you don't have this pattern, it should be fairly easy to recreate. So what you have here is your finished width of this after it's folded. It should be equivalent to your strap width. So let's say that you are using 1/2 inch strap elastic. The finished width here should be 1 inch because you fold it in half, and then what you're left is 1/2 inch. Then you would add in seam allowances on either side up here and down here for whatever width picot elastic you're using. Most of the time in my underarm, I'm using about a 3/8 of an inch picot. So 3/8 of an inch on this side and 3/8 of an inch on this side. And then you can just sort of play around with it. How wide do you want that strap attachment point to be on the cup? And just like this little miniature strap attachment point, it's put on in much the same way. So here's an example of a Boylston bra, but as I said, you can use this sort of strap attachment method on the Black Beauty bra without much difficulty. So just like with this little itty bitty one, what we have here is a large piece of fabric that's folded in half, so you don't have to finish this edge at all. If you're using this, you do have to make sure that you figure out how to finish the edge of your cup. Most of the time, I would finish the edge of my cup with something like fold over elastic, or if it's lace, I would just leave it unfinished because I want the nice scallops of lace. And I would sew the strap attachment underneath the lace so that it was just like peeking out. And we can see in this one, hopefully, I know it is black elastic, but as I had been talking about, when you're applying that underarm elastic, you're going to go up through the side of the bra. Here's your side seam, cross your cup to the top of the cup, and then that underarm elastic is going to continue up until you reach the terminal end of this fabric strap attachment point here. So remember, I had said we wanted this particular width to be equal to the width of your straps, and that's because once it's folded down, you want to make sure that you have the ability to put it through your strapling like this. So if you're doing this sort of fabric strap attachment point, be aware that you won't need as much strap elastic. So for something like this, I might only use maybe 10 or 15 inches of strap elastic to do the entire bra, whereas a normal bra, I might use a full yard or meter of strap elastic. So if you're short on strap elastic, this is a good way to be able to make a strap attachment that's matching fabric to your bra itself. It also makes sure that you get it moves that attachment point over a little bit, and you're getting the strap attachment sort of like directly above that cut piece, however long you want to make it. So I think this is a good method as well for the Black Beauty bra if you want to figure out how to do a strap attachment point without using the Powerbar. So I hope everyone found this video useful and gave you a couple of ideas how you can sort of change up the Black Beauty bra pattern and different ways that you can attach your straps that don't include the Powerbar. I'll see everyone next time. Take care.